There is a voice inside you, a quiet whisper that has been with you since the beginning. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It doesn't get drowned out by the noise of the world. Instead, it waits patiently for the moment you are ready to listen. This voice is not just a part of you, it is you. It carries your truth, your purpose, your essence. It speaks in the language of intuition and wisdom, guiding you toward paths you may not yet see but were always meant to walk. But too often we let the world's chaos drown it out. The noise of opinions, expectations, and fears builds like a storm. The demands of the day become deafening, and we forget to be still. We forget to listen. And yet, that voice remains. It's there in the silence, in the moments between breaths, urging you to remember who you are. It doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't need you to have all the answers. It simply asks for your attention. When you hear it, truly hear it, it will not steer you wrong. It may not always tell you what you want to hear, but it will always tell you what you need to hear. It will remind you of your strength when you doubt it. It will nudge you toward courage when fear has taken hold. It will guide you to the place where your light shines brightest. But listening isn't always easy. To hear this voice, you must quiet the distractions. You must step away from the endless noise and find the stillness within yourself. In that stillness, you'll find clarity. You'll find the answers that no one else can give you. So take a moment. Breathe. Close your eyes if you need to. Let the world fade into the background. And listen to that voice that is uniquely, unmistakably yours. It has been waiting for you. It is time to listen. There is a voice inside you, a quiet whisper that has been with you since the beginning. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It doesn't get drowned out by the noise of the world. Instead, it waits patiently for the moment you are ready to listen. This voice is not just a part of you, it is you. It carries your truth, your purpose, your essence. It speaks in the language of intuition and wisdom, guiding you toward paths you may not yet see, but were always meant to walk. But too often we let the world's chaos drown it out. The noise of opinions, expectations, and fears builds like a storm. The demands of the day become deafening, and we forget to be still. We forget to listen. And yet, that voice remains. It's there in the silence, in the moments between breaths, urging you to remember who you are. It doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't need you to have all the answers. It simply asks for your attention. When you hear it, truly hear it, it will not steer you wrong. It may not always tell you what you want to hear, but it will always tell you what you need to hear. It will remind you of your strength when you doubt it. It will nudge you toward courage when fear has taken hold. It will guide you to the place where your light shines brightest. But listening isn't always easy. To hear this voice, you must quiet the distractions. You must step away from the endless noise and find the stillness within yourself. In that stillness, you'll find clarity. You'll find the answers that no one else can give you. So take a moment. Breathe. Close your eyes if you need to. Let the world fade into the background. And listen. Listen to that voice that is uniquely, unmistakably yours. It has been waiting for you. It is time to listen. There is a voice within you, one that has been present since the moment you took your first breath. It's not loud or demanding. It doesn't compete for your attention in the way the world does. No, this voice is different. It's patient, timeless, and steady, like the rhythm of your heartbeat. It's always there, waiting for you to notice it. This voice isn't just a sound, it's a presence. It holds the essence of who you are, the truth of your being that cannot be touched by the noise or chaos of life. It doesn't need validation from the outside world because it already knows the answers you seek. It doesn't rush or pressure you. It simply waits, understanding that someday when you are ready, you will turn inward and listen. And when you do, it will be there, as it always has been. It doesn't grow tired, it doesn't fade, and it doesn't forget. It is your constant, your compass, your guide. No matter how far you've strayed from yourself, it remains within you, quietly holding the map back to who you truly are. This voice within you, this quiet force, is not in a rush. It doesn't demand to be heard over the noise of life. It simply waits patiently like a steady flame that never flickers, no matter how wild the storm outside may grow. It knows something you might not yet understand, that it doesn't need to shout to be powerful. It waits because it trusts you. It knows that there will come a moment when the noise of the world grows too loud, when the distractions lose their allure, and you finally turn inward, seeking something deeper. It knows that this moment cannot be forced or hurried, it must arrive in its own time. The voice does not waver in its patience. It watches as the currents of life pull you in different directions as you chase after the answers you think you need. It doesn't interfere or try to pull you back. It trusts that when you are ready, you will remember where to find it. And when you do, it will be there, steady as ever, waiting with open arms to guide you home. This voice speaks a language that cannot be written or taught, a language that you already know but may have forgotten. It doesn't communicate in words that shout for attention or demand explanation. Instead, it moves like a current beneath the surface, guiding you with a quiet sense of knowing. It is the voice of intuition. The compass within that points to the truth, even when the path ahead seems unclear. It whispers in moments of stillness, nudging you toward the choices that align with who you truly are. It doesn't come with guarantees or maps, only a deep sense that this is the way forward, even if you can't yet see where it leads. And though it may be faint at times, it's never wrong. It's the voice that pulls you toward opportunities you didn't realize were waiting, the one that urges you to pause when something feels off, even if you can't explain why. It's the voice that helps you find your way not through logic or reason, but through trust in something far greater than what the mind can comprehend. This is the guidance you carry within, always ready to lead you, if only you're willing to listen. The world is full of noise, voices from every corner telling you who to be, what to do, and how to live. They rise like a storm, relentless and overwhelming, demanding your attention. Over time, they can grow so loud that you forget there's another voice, a quieter one, waiting beneath it all. This noise, it isn't just sound. It's the weight of opinions, the pull of expectations, and the whispers of doubt that creep in when the world tells you you're not enough. It's the constant hum of comparison, the pressure to keep up, and the fear of falling behind. It builds and builds, drowning out the stillness you need to hear what truly matters. But here's the truth: this noise, no matter how deafening it feels, has no power over the voice within. It may distract you, delay you, even confuse you, but it cannot erase what lies at your core. The voice within doesn't compete with the world's chaos. It doesn't need to. It knows that when the noise becomes too much, you will seek the quiet. You will remember that the answers you need aren't out there, they're inside you, waiting to be heard. And so the challenge is not to silence the world, but to rise above it. To find the moments of stillness where you can reconnect with the truth that no amount of noise can take away. Stillness. It's a word that feels foreign in a world that moves faster every day. Yet it is in stillness that the voice within reveals itself. It cannot be found in the chaos or the noise. It cannot be rushed or forced into existence. Like the reflection of the moon on a calm lake, it only appears when the surface is undisturbed. To find it, you must step away from the endless distractions, from the notifications, the demands, the constant pull of what's next. You must create space for yourself, even if only for a moment. In that space, something remarkable happens. The noise fades. The chaos quiets. And in the silence, you begin to hear it, the voice that has been waiting for you all along. It's not about escaping the world, but about returning to yourself. The stillness isn't found in some distant place, it's already within you. It's a place of clarity, where the fog of doubt lifts and the answers you've been searching for come into view. It is here, in this stillness, that you reconnect with your intuition, your purpose, and your truth. The challenge is not in finding the stillness, but in allowing yourself to stay there, even when the world tries to pull you back into the noise. Because in that stillness lies everything you need to hear, if only you are willing to listen. When the voice within speaks, it doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It's not concerned with comfort or convenience. Its purpose is not to make life easier, but to make it real, to guide you toward what is true, even when that truth is hard to face. This voice doesn't flatter or sugarcoat. It doesn't indulge in the fantasies we create to avoid what we know deep down. Instead, it offers clarity, a mirror reflecting who you are and what you need to do. Sometimes it tells you to let go when you'd rather hold on. Other times it urges you to move forward when you feel too afraid to take the next step. And though it may not always be what you want, it is always what you need. It is honest, unwavering, and kind in its own way. Because it understands that the truth, no matter how difficult, is the only path to growth, to freedom, to the life you were meant to live. This voice isn't here to make things easy, it's here to make them meaningful. It asks you to trust it, even when it leads you into the unknown. And if you're willing to listen, it will always guide you to a place where you can stand tall, knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear. In those times, it's easy to forget your own strength, to let fear convince you that you are powerless. But the voice within you doesn't forget. It knows your strength even when you don't. It sees the courage within you, even when you feel small. This voice doesn't let you sink into despair, it calls you to rise. It whispers to you in the quietest moments, reminding you of all that you've endured, of the storms you've already weathered. It doesn't promise that the road ahead will be easy, but it assures you that you have what it takes to walk it. When fear tells you to stay where you are, this voice nudges you forward. It reminds you that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to move despite it. It doesn't demand great leaps, it celebrates the smallest steps, knowing that every step forward is a victory. In your moments of doubt, this voice becomes your anchor. It pulls you back to yourself, to the core of who you are, where strength and resilience have always lived. It tells you that you are capable, that you are enough, and that no matter how difficult the journey may seem, you already carry everything you need to face it. The answers you seek are not out there, scattered across the world for someone else to give you. They are within you, waiting to be uncovered, waiting for you to trust yourself enough to listen. The voice within doesn't rely on the wisdom of others or the validation of the outside world. It holds a truth that is uniquely yours, one that cannot be replicated or replaced. You may spend years looking elsewhere, chasing advice, approval, or direction, believing that someone else holds the key. But every time you turn outward, you drift a little further from the clarity already inside you. This voice knows that the real answers don't come from books, mentors, or the opinions of the crowd. Those things may guide you, inspire you, even challenge you, but they are not your truth. Your truth lives deep within you, and this voice is its keeper. It waits for you to stop running, to stop searching for something you already possess. It doesn't force itself upon you because it knows the journey to understanding must be yours. But when you're ready, it speaks, offering insights that feel like coming home. This voice reminds you that no one else can tell you what path to take. It urges you to trust in your own understanding, your own intuition. It knows that while the world may offer tools and perspectives, only you can decide how to use them. And in this way, it gives you the gift of freedom, the freedom to trust yourself completely. The journey to truly hear the voice within is not one that can be rushed. It cannot be hurried by time or circumstance. There are no shortcuts to understanding, no magic formula that will make the noise of the world fade away more quickly. To hear the voice clearly, you must allow yourself the space to truly listen. It requires patience. The kind of patience that comes with knowing that good things take time, and so does clarity. In a world that thrives on instant gratification, the idea of waiting for something, especially something so personal, can feel difficult, even frustrating. But the voice within knows that rushing won't help you. It knows that the only way to hear it fully is to give it room to speak, to let go of the need to fill every silence with noise. As you create this space, you may find moments of discomfort, moments when the quiet feels too heavy, too empty. That's when it's most important to remain still, to allow the discomfort to pass, and let the stillness settle into your bones. It's in those moments that the voice speaks most clearly, not in the absence of sound, but in the presence of your willingness to just be. In time, you will begin to realize that this stillness is not empty, it's full. It is full of wisdom, of guidance, of the answers that were always within you, waiting for you to pause long enough to hear them. But this requires trust. You must trust that the quiet is not wasted time, that the answers you seek will come when you are ready to listen, not sooner, not later, but exactly when the moment is right. The voice within, that quiet and steady presence, never demands. It never forces itself upon you. Even when the world feels like it's asking for everything, it doesn't seek to control, to manipulate, or to impose its will. It simply waits. It knows that the truth cannot be rushed, and it trusts that when you are ready, you will hear it. This voice isn't like the voices around you, voices that often speak in urgency, in certainty, in demands. No, this voice speaks with the soft power of wisdom that only time can nurture. It doesn't try to sway you with persuasive words or flashy promises. It simply speaks with a calm assurance, offering what you need, not what you expect. And when you choose to listen, you will begin to notice something profound. This voice doesn't just offer answers, it offers a deeper understanding. It doesn't just tell you what to do, it helps you understand why. It pulls back the layers of confusion and doubt, revealing the clarity that's always been there, waiting for your awareness to catch up. The more you listen, the more you realize that this voice isn't new. It's always been with you, quietly present, like the air you breathe. You've simply forgotten to notice it, drowned out by the noise of life. But once you hear it, you begin to trust it. And that trust deepens with each decision, with each step forward you take in its guidance. This voice doesn't judge. It doesn't push you to be anything other than who you are. It understands that growth takes time, and that you are exactly where you need to be. It holds space for you to be imperfect, to stumble, to question. And in that space, you find freedom, not freedom from challenges, but freedom to face them with confidence. It knows that life is not a straight line. There will be detours, obstacles, and moments when the path ahead isn't clear. But it's in those moments that the voice becomes most important. It doesn't promise an easy journey. It promises that, no matter how winding the road, you will never be alone if you trust it. Listening to this voice doesn't mean everything will be easy. It doesn't mean there won't be struggles or challenges. What it does mean is that you will always have a source of strength to draw upon, a quiet and unshakable knowing that guides you back to yourself when you feel lost.